Hello, I'm going to show you today how I decided to fix the plumbing in my air handling unit. Temperatures got into the teens and the pipes burst. So this is the current setup that was there. I will show you how I'm going to modify this and make this a little bit better. I want to go on record that I am not a licensed HVAC installer. I just had a problem and decided to fix it myself. If you find this video helpful though, it would be great if you could subscribe or like my video. I appreciate it. So right now I'm taking off the plumbing that was attached to the air handling unit. Water had leaked through the ceiling down into the floor below, and you can see as I dump that out that water comes out in a brownish color. That P-trap right there, that bendy pipe, is required and needed, but one of the challenges is debris can get stuck in there. So when I redesign this, my goal is going to come up with a solution to eliminate some of the issues that I was having with debris getting caught. So this is the existing pipe that was being used. I took it off and reconnected it. I could just go ahead and use this, and you could do that, but I decided that I wanted to create an ability to have blowout valves that could get any of that garbage out of the pipe with compressed air, as well as an easy ability to drain and clean the pipes. So this contraption here is a little tray. I had extra zip tape hanging around from when I did the siding on my house, and also extra insulation. I basically made a little tray that's, if water spills over, say when I use a blowout valve or any water gets there, it's not going to damage my ceiling below. This is not necessary. I just thought it was a little bit overkill, but decided to do it because I had the pieces. So right now you're looking at my solution that I came up with. This is all dry fitted together. That right there will be my new P-trap, similar to what was there before, but it still gets those angles. I also wanted to make sure it had a little bit more support. So this was spare pieces I had hanging around. I'm just going to rest this right in there so that it's a little bit more support and not dangling. Again, this is just me dry fitting it, making sure that the angles are where I want them and that it's actually going to fit into this area well. What I do when I'm dry fitting, I put little black dashes on the white pipe, and that way when I go to glue it, I understand where I want it to be, and they'll come off when you glue it, but it just makes it easier. Now the water will run down. There's the support I have with that wood block, and I got a little copper fitting that was left over from something. The water will run out to the outside that way. So I went from having it dry fitted to now put together and glued together. I used the primer, used the glue, and let it set. I'm now connecting it to the air handler. So this will be my P-trap portion. You'll see I have some blowout attachments that I'm going to be using in the future to, one, clean it. If there's any black stuff in there, don't forget you always have to refill it with water or else you're going to mess up your air handler. So I'll blow it out before the winter and then I'll refill it. Again, it may be a little bit of extra work, but I'd rather do that than have the pipes crack and leak into my ceiling down below. So I'm gluing this on, and that will be the design that I decided to go with. You'll see there's two blowout pieces there. I'm happy with how it came together here. I do have some pieces that probably aren't necessary or don't need to be put on there, like the blowout valve. Obviously, I made that emergency tray with the insulation. That's not necessary, but I'm happy with how it turned out, and I think that the final solution will be much better than what was originally there. I'm now connecting the drain pipes together. I'm reusing what was already there. The person before me decided to prime the entire pipe, but it's actually working. So I'm just connecting these two back together, and then that will drain to the outside region. One thing I didn't mention was what I'm using to cut that 3/4 inch PVC pipe. I use a ratcheting PVC pipe cutter, and it just makes it a lot easier. You can use a sawzall or a reciprocating saw, but it creates burrs and can make the connections a little bit tough. I'll put a link in the description of one of the ones that I have that I find very useful. It's under $15, so it's not bad. So unfortunately, I realized that the angles are not where they need to be. This white pipe needs to be under that pan off to the right, and the whole thing needed to be lowered. So I had to cut it because it just has to be lower. If not, the water will overflow out of that emergency pan, and you can't have that. That's basically not fixing the system. So I wound up cutting it, and I'm going to drop it down, put an extension piece in. So I decided to add in a cleanout valve on this one here too as well. One of the reasons, because you can always pour bleach down it, you can blow it out if you ever do have a clog. It just makes it a lot easier in the future. So just put 4 couplings on, changed the angle a little bit, dropped it down, and I really needed that pitch. And you'll see I check it here with the level, just a little torpedo level. I can put a link in the description. Not expensive, but if you don't have the level of the pipe and whether or not it's got the right contours, the drain just won't work. So the water will run out there. So just to drive the point home, right there I'm putting the level on the pan and on the pipe. The pipe has to be below that pan, because if not, it could overflow the pan and into your house. You do not want that. Ideally, the installer would have put this AC unit off the floorboards a little bit more. So now the path of the water comes into this P-trap right here. That's very important, so that the water sits in there, goes down that pipe and outside. The other one out of the pan comes here and connects up, and all the angles are right now. This is going to be a clean out. I have 2 clean outs, and then that's the 3rd clean out. You can use those to pour in cleaning fluid or to blow it out. I put all of them with a male fitter at the top and then put a cap on. I put all of the caps above the pan so that the water will never be an issue. You do need to have a cap to keep that compression still there. To blow out your system, you can use a winterizing kit. I actually bought mine on Amazon. It's a RV winterizing kit that I use with my sprinkler systems outside actually to blow it out. But it's got an on-off valve here to regulate the air. And it just connects. It comes with a male and female fitting. It's under $15. I'll put a link in the description. But basically it screws right into here, and then that regulates the air blowing through. Ideally you would have an on-off switch so it doesn't blow back into the pan, but this would be enough to clean it out. I didn't have the space because my unit's on the ground to be able to do that. This little brass fitting actually comes with the kit, and then you can fit an air compressing unit on it. This is a different way you can go directly into it, so you don't have to regulate the air with that on-off switch. But another easy way to do it, I actually use that piece as well to clean out the system as a bit of a funnel, and I'll show you that. So if you're wondering how you can clean the pipes, or you can fill the pipes with water if your P-trap is low, you can use this piece right here or this clean out right there. And that one right there will be more just to pour bleach down. That was an add-on. But what I'll do is I take that compression piece that I just showed you, and I actually connect it to a cut up soda bottle. I've seen people do it with like little water bottles. The problem is they leak all over the place, whereas this one has a wider funnel. So you just throw that right in there, and what you'll do is pour 50-50 bleach down this pipe here. 50 bleach, 50% water, and that should be able to loosen it up, clean it up. You can do the same thing here, but in my instance, I'm planning on blowing these pipes out in the winter so that they don't freeze, since my house is an older construction and I wish it was in a better insulated area, but it's not. So I'll probably blow it out, and I'll use this contraption to refill them before I run the air conditioning again. The water comes right out here at the bottom. Securing the pipes, especially if it's an attic area, is extremely important. I am actually using these little clamps. You can get them on Amazon. They're copper hanger kits. Make sure you get the 3/4 for this so that matches up the piping. You can also put them on a little block if you need to elevate, because again, that pitch on the pipe is extremely important so that the water flows out of the house. I'll put a link in the description on where to get these. They're about $20 for 10. Again, put them down every 4 feet all the way out. Insulating the pipes is something you can choose to do. My plan is actually to blow out the units in the winter, but I actually decided to go ahead and use this rubber pipe insulation. I'll put a link in the description where you can get it on Amazon. It's about $6 for 6 feet. It's not totally necessary, but if you live in the Northeast or a climate that can get pretty cold and you don't have great insulation because it's an older house, it can really help out. Just use some zip ties, make sure it's secure. It can only help, it can't hurt. The other thing is you don't know who's going to be in the house. If you ever move out, it might be a way to help them out. There are plenty of different ways to do this. I'm not saying this is the best way. This is just one of the ways you can do it. Using electric heat tape is also an option. Most people would use this product for, say they have a garage where they have some copper pipes and they attach it to that in case of the extreme weather. In this case, I'm putting it on what if I'm out of town and we get some major temperature drops and I never drained it out. It's just an insurance policy for $25. It's on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. The one challenge here is in this application, you don't actually wrap it around the pipe. Some of these you do. You also don't want to over insulate it because it could cause a fire. So you just got to be careful as to how you apply it. It's not necessary, but it is an option. I hope this video was informative. There's a lot of different ways to approach this. This is the way I did it. It's not necessarily the right way. It's just one way. Please subscribe and give me a thumbs up.